there's a couple things that you need to think about before giving birth, a couple big decisions you want to make as a new mom. And one of those is going to be, how are you going to feed your baby? And the second one is going to be, do you want a circumcision or not if you're having a boy and you know that you're having a boy? So those are things I really encourage you to think about before birth and really make a good decision, make an informed decision, do a little research on your own. These are important decisions. And first one is, how are you going to feed your baby?
Yeah.
You have two choices. Are you going to breastfeed or are you going to formula feed?
Or both.
Or both, or a little combination of both. I'll be perfectly honest, there's going to be a push for breastfeeding when you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
It is recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. We know that breast is best, but it doesn't work for everyone. So it's a personal decision, and you can't have that guilt over it. It doesn't work for everyone, and it's not the best choice for everyone. So it's a decision you want to make, and there's a lot of support for breastfeeding, and same for bottle feeding. So it's just a decision you need to make and think about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really passionately that breastfeeding is wonderful, but it absolutely does not work for everyone. And I think there's a lot of pressure from family members, from siblings, from social media to breastfeed, but it's just not the right decision for everyone. Some people are not able to do it for a variety of reasons. They can't produce enough. It doesn't work in their lifestyle. It's just not what they want to do. So I think in those decisions, or in those instances, doing maybe breast milk and formula, or just formula, is wonderful. And I think staying confident with that decision when you're in the nursery and then after is important. There's a lot of benefits to bottle feeding. You can visually see how much your kiddo is getting. Other people can help you feed. The sole responsibility doesn't fall on you. You can say, hey, Dad, to your spouse or your significant other, your partner, tonight's 3 a.m. feeding, that's on you. I need some sleep. It just allows others to feed. It's good for if you're going to be going off to daycare, learning to use a bottle, which of course you can pump your breast milk and, incorporate bottles that way too. My point is there's just lots of ways to go about this, and none of the decisions are wrong. You've got to do what is the least stressful for you. And at the end of the day, what makes your baby full and comfortable and thrive and grow and sleep well. So I think don't get caught up in the pressure. Do what feels right to you and maybe feel it out. It might change with time while you're waiting for your breast milk to come in. Maybe there's more formula involvement. It can be an evolving decision.
Agree.
Yeah.
100%. And it's probably one of the most common stress-provoking issues for a new mom.
Yes.
Is the pressure of breastfeeding. And again, we aren't saying that one is better than the other.
No.
Breastfeeding is definitely still going to be your first best option.
Yeah.
But it's stressful. I have moms coming in all the time on day 3, 4, 5 of life, and they're in tears because it's not working out, or all they're thinking about is just nursing, and they're exhausted and they're tired. But if you choose to breastfeed, there's lactation services available.
Yes.
And almost all hospitals now will have a lactation nurse that'll come see you and work with you and really work out all the kinks and keep you comfortable.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a painful process. Breastfeeding is super natural. It does take a little time and a little effort to perfect it.
Yeah.
And you've got the support right there in the hospital, which is excellent. And then a lot of times you can continue to see that lactation nurse even after you leave the hospital and make appointments with them until you feel really good about this breastfeeding journey.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, you can do a combination. You can choose to put the baby to breast. You can pump and feed, or you can do a combination of breastfeeding and bottle feeding and formula feeding. And it's all going to work out, and it's all so we can have a thriving, healthy baby.
And I think new moms forget to take care of themselves after they have a baby because their focus is on this newborn who needs and requires so much. But definitely don't forget to stay hydrated. Make sure you're eating. If you're breastfeeding, you are pumping out a lot of calories, and you've got to replenish that. So you're going to need lots of water. You're going to need to be eating the healthy foods. You're going to need to be sleeping. And of course, that's whether you're formula or breastfeeding. But just as a mom, don't forget about yourself in this process also.
Absolutely. And, again, this is one of the decisions you need to make, is whether to breastfeed or formula feed. And we could talk about breastfeeding for hours and hours and hours. But the idea behind this is just to make sure you make the decision beforehand and try to stick with that plan. The other decision that you need to make if you're going to have a boy, and you know you're going to have a baby boy, is circumcision or not.
Right.
And again, that's a decision. It's not a must do one way or the other. A lot of times it's going to be cultural, or it's going to be what dad looks like.
Yeah.
So another decision that you want to make, and that's one that you need to talk to your OB about.
Yeah.
Because the OB is going to be the one who does the actual procedure.
Sometimes it could be the pediatrician.
It could be the pediatrician. You're right. But there's a few different ways that they can do it, and it's something to discuss. So
and there are some health benefits to it.
Absolutely.
But it's completely optional.